Hey guys, what's up? James here. So, as the title suggests, I'm going to be talking about car dependency, suburban sprawl, and why it's just making us fucking lonely, for the most part. Alright. This mostly applies to North America as well as the majority of Australia, from what I've researched, from what I understand. You see, the fact that you have to, you know, well, for one, let's start off with this. All right, the economic aspect, the fact that you have to spend, what is it, drop 8 grand or 15, $1,000 or whatever, if you buy it off the street, or you know, get into debt, to get a vehicle, all of that to get a vehicle, just so you can, adequately, it'll take you 15-20 minutes just to get to the grocery store, and during that whole trip you're probably just in the grocery store for like, maybe 10 minutes, it's, and then it'll take you 30-45 minutes to get to work, right? And you're like stuck in traffic, bumper to bumper, everyone's honking, everyone's pissed off, everyone's trying to get to their destination, what have you. And it's like that whole environment separates everyone from each other. They're all in their, 2-ton or whatever steel box, and they're just like pissed off and trying to, get to their destination, for the most part in a rush to get to their destination, since everything is so far and spread out. It's just terrible, and it that also, you know, that's the cause of such shit like road rage and what have you, but going back to the loneliness aspect of it, the fact that everything is far and spread out, which is called suburban sprawl, by the way, that just makes, it makes it less accessible for everyone in society. It makes it less acceptable for low-income people, since it's hard for them to afford to get a vehicle. It makes it less acceptable to elderly people, since they have trouble driving, and they're older. It makes it less acceptable to children, since they don't know how to drive, right? And it makes it less accessible to disabled people as well, since it's hard for them to get around because of their disabilities. It's just so isolating in that regard. How are those people supposed to participate in society adequately and be able to communicate and interact with other like-minded individuals, or to discover new hobbies or particular interest that they might want to indulge in, and that'll enable them to actually better, not just better participate in society, but build up their sense of identity and who they are, and help them to really better understand themselves. All of that is taken off the table, because of car dependency, suburban sprawl, and it's so fucking ridiculous. This all basically started because in the mid 20th century, the the car manufacturers and oil manufacturers, GM, as well as the oil manufacturers like Firestone and whatnot, they all lobbied to systematically destroy the infrastructure for public transit. That basically entailed the streetcars. They bought up all the streetcars and the streetcar systems and just tore them all down, just so they could, just so all of that could facilitate the building of, the interstate highway system, as well as various other highways and what have you. And all of that, of course, entailed the destruction of homes of people of color, of course. Yeah, this goes pretty fucking deep. This isn't suburban sprawl, car dependency. It isn't just like a social thing. It's also, an economic and political thing too. All right. But let's get back to the social aspect of it. Okay. So everyone on the road, they're all separated from each other. They're all trying to get to their destinations as soon as possible. They're all in a rush and whatnot. It doesn't enable that clearly doesn't enable any social interaction whatsoever. Okay, and then all four of those groups that I had mentioned earlier, they're all left out of society because they can't, adequately get around, get around by themselves, because the infrastructure is just not there for walking, or the infrastructure is not there for walking or cycling, and the infrastructure definitely is either barely functioning or pieces of shit, which is like public transit basically. Unfortunately, unless you're like in New York or Chicago or Philly or like Vancouver or Montreal and all that, Toronto. If you're not living in one of those major cities, then you're pretty SOL, in terms of, adequately being able to get around on your own, and, being independent, and being able to actually participate in society, It leaves out those folks, and also, like, there's no, one thing that needs to be understood is there's no actual, like, in these suburban sprawling car dependent environments, there's no town square, there's no place for people to, really congregate and actually, interact with one another, during the day or late in the evening or anything like that whatsoever, right? So I'm speaking from experience. I mean, I'm originally from New York, but I was raised pretty much here in Central Florida. I've been in Orlando since 2009. Orlando's, decent city, that's for sure, and it could be so much better, but it's just so bogged down by the fucking car dependency and suburban sprawl here, and it's no surprise too that this city is also has the highest rating of pedestrian deaths and accidents. I'll link all the details regarding that in the description below. It's from strongtowns.com. It was an article from the Strong Towns website. So, but yeah, there's no areas for people to congregate and actually socialize and get around and interact with other people. There's no sense of community. That's the thing. There's no sense of community in suburban sprawl, car dependent cities. And the thing that needs to be understood is, humans, we spent the majority of our existence in hunter-gatherer tribes, which were inherently communal. Humans, we are social creatures. We were designed to live in communal environments, to be in communal living, to be in communal living situations. So, the car infrastructure, car dependency, suburban sprawl, that is all antithetical to that, and so it's no wonder why, for example, I'm speaking about this since I'm a male, but it's no wonder why there's such an epidemic of male loneliness. Of course, there's loneliness all throughout throughout car dependent environments in general, regardless of your sex or whatever. But generally speaking, men do tend to have lesser social connections than ladies do, and ladies and LGBTQ people too. But or I'm sorry, than ladies do. But bottom line, it's no wonder why there's so many males that are suffering from loneliness, speaking from experience here. And it's no wonder why, you have communities like incels and communities like MGTOW and Red Pill and whatnot. There's no sense of social fabric, if you will, in these car-dependent suburban sprawling types of environments, It's so isolating. And, it's hard to really cultivate connections and meet other like-minded individuals since everything is spread out, and that's really tough if you don't have, the ability to acquire a car or the ability to operate a car. It cuts those people out of society, and, they're left to suffer. So I'm speaking from experience because I went 6 years after high school living without a car here in Orlando, and it was fucking hell. It was traumatic. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. No one should have to suffer just so they can participate in society. No one should have to go through, isolation, just because they want to participate in society. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, and it's just, I'm going to link some videos and some articles in the description. There was one recent article, I'm sorry, not article, there was one recent study where some researchers concluded that people in major cities, walkable cities, tend to have more social connections than people who live in suburbs or rural environments. I'm also going to link one of Not Just Bikes videos. It's Why the Suburbs Suck, as well as Echo Gecko, or why we won't raise our kids in the suburbs. That's Not Just Bikes. And I'll also link Echo Gecko's video, Suburban Wasteland, How the Burbs Blot Childhood, or Child Adolescence, something along those lines. But I'm going to link both of those videos in the description box, as well as that article, and an article by one of the researchers in that study. Excuse me. Anyways, though, thanks for watching. I'm going to have the links to the Not Just Bikes Echo Gecko videos, as well as to the research, as well as to the study, goes into detail about how people in urban metropolitan cities generally have more social connections than people in suburbs and rural environments and whatnot. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.